Good God.
Um. Anyway,
Well, thank you for joining us for that part of this evening.
the kind of
Maybe
impromptu.
we went from discussing how a friend shopped at Suit Supply to Bajoni. But let's talk about the our archive here.
Archive.
So if you guys haven't known already, we had an episode that came out about archiving our closet, which basically meant how sometimes we keep our clothes for a long time and we bring out other clothes as if like we're shopping the archive or pull out like an old outfit or sorry, an old piece that maybe hasn't seen a little bit of action, and we wear it like in a new way. We Spencer and I, and maybe even MJ, have noticed that we kind of return to the same pieces every once in a while. Not everything is like we're not always doing a constant refresh with our clothes, and so we end up like for example, Spencer's like a Ricky jacket, kind of goes in
Mhm.
and out of favor. And as I posted on Instagram, he had it like 5 years ago when we went to San Francisco, and now he has it again and wearing it almost the exact same way
Well,
as
yeah,
that
I was
photograph.
gonna say I feel like I've kept like most of my casual stuff I've kept because I feel like there's even though it's like I don't know evolved, the like through line is remained
Yeah,
consistent. It's mostly
exactly.
the tailoring that.
Yeah, we talk about that a little bit in the podcast episode, a little bit in the blog about like what exactly we do keep and what we end up kind of giving away or passing on or upgrading in a sense. And we've got Kiyoshi here as well, who is maybe anti that position, or his approach is antithetical to that position. And so there's a lot of stuff here. Again, if you guys have any comments, we'll feel free to jump in. But yeah, it's an interesting thing. Um, and recently, I think we would talk a little bit about this in the Discord, where it's like obviously Spencer and I and MJ, we all kind of live at home, so we kind of have what Kiyoshi calls like the infinite storage hack, where you just kind of leave it at your parents' house, right? Like we have that. Just put it into a box in the garage, and then you take it out later. We don't really have our own places yet, so we haven't actually had to, and we haven't moved, so we don't really um know uh like what's important. We haven't had to have that Sophie's choice yet of like, okay, well, I
This is
can't bring this with
exactly
me.
like Soviet voice.
Yeah, she was like, which jacket do I keep? Do I keep like my old sack jacket, or am I gonna plan on upgrading this marine
The
jacket at some
Nazis
point?
want to take one of my jackets.
Yeah. But yeah. um MJ, do you think you archive some stuff? Like, how does your closet approach work? Like, do you ever take out old stuff and you're like, oh, I haven't worn this in a while, and you feel the love
Um,
for it, or do you clean it out?
well, like relatively old is like my closet, I guess you could still say it's kind of new.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't have that as much. Maybe as far as like winter stuff, because we live here in California in LA, so you know the uh the winter the winter clothes go away pretty quickly after we get a chance to wear them. So I guess that's kind of like like the fleece and like the heavier heavier weight shirts and stuff like that probably are the hey, like I have this and I want to wear it now because it's cold.
Hmm.
Right. So
Well,
what have you gotten rid of, like so far, like in like the
Um, a lot of stuff that I had before I cared about clothes. You know, like a lot
like
of like dress shirts and um like I gave away like Henleys and stuff like that that weren't good. So
yeah,
um
you're kind of in that, like, the up, like you're upgrading your whole closet. Like, it's like me getting rid of, like, I don't know, like Gap t-shirts maybe.
yeah. Yeah, basically it's like yeah, when you getting rid of the H&M, getting rid of the Express stuff. It's all the stuff that you don't like
hmm.
you stopped liking when you learned what good things were, you know?
You learned what good.
Yeah. You saw the light, so now you got to get rid of this stuff. But I haven't gotten to that part where there was stuff that I like really enjoyed wearing or really, was really into, and then I replaced it with newer stuff or better stuff yet. I think we'll get there though.
Yeah, I mean, you've been kind of following like what I do. I mean, or sorry, I've been giving you the good stuff, kind of, right? Like
He's giving me the good stuff. He's my dealer.
He's your good stuff dealer.
Yeah.
I mean,
But
yeah,
yeah.
Go
I
on.
still get stuff here and there from Ethan, so it pushes out all those. I've been meaning to go through
talking, I'm gonna pee.
another great purge of my closet, both like menswear related and just, I guess, miscellaneous clothes.
I guess we are going to be testing. I'm going to be testing this episode. Find out that I am going to be, knock on wood, if everything now is going out in 2, maybe.
That's close.
Yeah, so like 2 or 3
Congratulations.
months. So I will I will probably be either not getting rid of a lot of clothes or just not bringing it with me. So we'll see
everything.
what my closet looks like in a couple of months. I'm gonna be moving in a couple of months, David. I'll move my mic a little bit closer. I don't know if I'm too far away.
What's the closet situation going to be like?
Not really sure yet. We're still looking. We're still looking at places, so it's really gonna depend on like what place we actually get. But yeah, I'm not sure right now. I mean, I don't really have like a whole lot of closet space. I've kind of like, I guess I do. I've like colonized a couple other closets in the house that no one else uses, but I keep everything that I regularly wear, at least, in my pretty cramped closet in my room. So I think I might be okay. I do have like one rack that has collapsed a couple times. It hasn't like completely broken, but if it gets off balance, it can fall over. So I might have to deal with that. But yeah. On the one hand, it's nice to get out, but on the other hand, I'm gonna miss having all this closet space.
Are you considering like what Ethan has, like just buying a clothes rack?
I mean, like I said, so I have one that I like, one of my neighbors was just giving away. Like they were moving and they just had it out in their front lawn and it said free, so I just took it. But depending on what my room looks like, and again how much space that I'm gonna have, I might get that. I might upgrade my clothing rack to something that can store a little bit more and not constantly collapse unless it's like leaning against the wall. So
yeah, I'm curious. Like, for me, I don't mind seeing my clothes in my room. I mean, obviously, I only have this room, and I have like a. Sorry, I sound kind of far. I have a what do you call it? Like outer closet, outerwear closet for like my big coats and like my leather jackets and everything. So yeah, I'm also curious to see what happens when I move out. Again, this is not anytime soon because it depends on friends getting jobs. But
that's me.
That's MJ. But yeah, I don't know. Like, I'm the kind of guy who likes to have a lot of stuff. Like, I have a lot of music on my phone because I want to say maybe that's like maybe more of an Ethan thing, because we talk a little bit about in the podcast about the collector mindset, right? Like, you like to just have a bunch of stuff. It keeps growing. Sometimes you divest stuff. We talk about like books. Some people do give away books, but it's kind of like music. It's more like music to me, where like music is so emotional, and just because I don't listen to something doesn't mean I don't want to keep having it. Like sometimes, for example, I can be into like a love theme mood, right? I listen to like the love theme from Superman, Marion's theme, etc. And then sometimes I'm like, okay, I want like action music, or I want like silly music from like Home Alone. Like, so it doesn't make, like, to me, it doesn't make sense to constantly keep shifting music in and out. I just want it all there, so when the mood strikes, I have it. That's why I have like a downloaded music, like I have like a downloaded library of music into my iTunes, and it's not just streaming, right? Like I feel like if it's streaming, when things are like kind of going out, yeah, you can like, it'll always be there. But for like downloading music, especially if it's something you can't regularly get over and over again, it's like you kind of need to have it. It's like if you gave up like a white OCBD, if you wanted another one, you could probably like get another one later down the road, right? But leather jacket wise, especially if you're really picky with it, it's like, okay, well, it doesn't make sense for me to give away this leather jacket because I'll never find it again. If I can still fit into it, I'd rather just keep it in case the mood strikes. And so applying that logic to I apply that same music logic to clothing. So it's kind of, again, tough until I'm forced to make the hard decision of like, I literally can't bring everything with me. But yeah, I don't know yet. I still have worn a lot of different stuff. Like I still wear like my Banana Republic like linen trousers, even though they're like kind of like mid-rise. I guess I lost weight since I bought them, and so they sit higher, and so I got it tailored to kind of fit a little bit better. But like yeah, they're not pleated and they're not side tabs, whatever, but they're still great, and I don't feel like, because they're so novelty, and I'm sure Spencer can talk about this too, where like when the piece is novelty and they're cheap and you've had it for a while, it's like, why give it up?
Yeah,
because then it's something you probably wouldn't get again, but you still enjoy wearing it.
I mean, yeah, I think we talked about this in the episode, but that's the thing with like vintage is like, as with everything, it affects how we like think about buying, because everything that we were buying like vintage for the most part was like one of a kind. So it's really something that you have to consider if you want to get rid of, because it's like, it's not like, oh, I might be able to find this on like eBay or something, or this brand still like makes this. It's like if you sell it or get rid of it, like you're not gonna find it again. You're not gonna have that exact thing ever again.
It's like, do you want it, right? Like later, like, do you want to buy it again? It's like, maybe at this point you'll want other things. And yeah, I get it. Like that might think, oh, then you don't really want this piece anymore. But like, because you have it, you'll still probably wear it, right? Like there's a lot of weird stuff that Spencer and I probably wouldn't buy again, but because we have it, we still wear it. Like again, like those red HBT cotton linen trousers, for example. Like I probably, if I never owned it, I probably wouldn't buy it. Like I still to this day do not own like Nantucket Reds, like true Nantucket Red chinos. Don't know if like it's not really that pressing need for me. And so instead I have these these like red linen trousers, and they serve the purpose, right? They get what I need for it. What else is a good example? Like, I don't know. I'm looking around my closet here, or looking at my room. I mean, there's like a handful of ties where it's like, yeah, they're fucking weird, but like I still wear them, and I wouldn't buy them again because like I don't want to waste the money on it. But like I already have it, so it's free, So
it's recycled.
Yeah, it's recycled. Yeah, it's like, I think for me, like I don't think of, and most of us don't think of things in cost per wear. And even if that was the case, I think we're already at the stage where, because we've retained a lot of the stuff, the cost per wear is still pretty low already, right? So we kind of like luck out. Like my sports shirts, yeah, I might not wear them as much because I like wearing my spear points, or I go in phases. But if I did cost per wear, it would be like less than $10 or something, and like that's so negligible. It's kind of like, yeah. David saying here, it's pretty strapped for storage. Yeah, we haven't. We're pretty spoiled. Spencer and I have like always had the ability to wear and have whatever we want. Recently though, not at the time of recording the episode, but at the time of now, I gave up my 2 Hurtling pants to Jay because I just was like, fuck it, let's put this to the test. And I'm already kind of replacing them or upgrading them with the Lords of Wool trousers through Hall Madden, however you want to call that relationship, sub brand, I guess. But yeah, I got like, wide leg trousers through them that I already know that I like. And so, kind of made sense. Like, okay, I can give this up. And I won't miss it. Because I don't know, Spencer, maybe correct me if I'm wrong here, but sometimes like you'll have two of the same thing because you'll have the old version and you'll upgrade it, but then you'll have like the beater one and then like the nice one.
Yeah, I mean, I think I've like stopped doing, like I used to do that. Like I had, I don't know, like my repro, like officer chinos, which I still wear, and then I had my true vintage ones, which were unfortunately just a tad too short. And I did keep both for a while, and I would be like, oh, maybe I'll like do like something different with these ones that are too short, and then I just cut them off into shorts. I'm now like I don't want to own like two of the like almost exact same thing. Like again, I always anytime I talk about this, I feel like a hypocrite because I have like 30 chambray shirts, but like they're all a little bit different somehow.
Yeah, that's kind of my boat too. Like I don't have two of the exact same thing. Mainly because everything has different like silhouettes already, right? But yeah, I mean, I'm sure if I was like, hard pressed, like I can only take like 20 things with me. I'm sure I could pare down my wardrobe. It would suck. I know I could do it. But until then, I just don't have to, which is why I still have like a lot of my Banana Republic stuff, and I still do wear them. Again, it's not every day, but we love clothes. You're not going to wear everything every day. Like, I think that's also one thing too, where like we realize just how many clothes we have, and it's like it's such a minimalist mindset to wear the same thing every day. Like for us, like it can be a while before we wear it again, even if we love it. Like I can love my tassel loafers, but that doesn't mean I'm going to wear them every day. I still want to wear sneakers, Chelsea boots, etc. It doesn't mean I need to give away my tassel loafers.
Tesla loafers.
Tesla loafer.
They just catch on fire after 5 years. If you scuff them, you have to throw them away.
They make random right turns into pedestrian traffic.
David, what do you? I know you said like you give up stuff either. What have you given up and why? And again, anyone in chat, let us know if you've like what you've given away, what you bring back, what you archive and decide to like, okay, maybe someday I'll wear this again. But yeah, curious. Or Kiyoshi, while people are typing it in, why don't you talk a little bit about your closet and your archiving or lack thereof?
So I think on the Discord, I've been probably anti-archive.
Yeah.
More or less. And this is not to say I don't have clothes from like literally 8 years ago still in my closet. But there's very little of them. They make up a very, very tiny, tiny minority of the closet that I keep around. And I think the reason why I get rid of a lot of things is one, size changes, right? Like I've gotten bigger and I can't fit into the unfortunately extremely slim things I used to own and have. So that's one reason. Another reason is that after wearing and trying things, some things don't work out. I just realized like, oh, I thought I was going to be like cool, like certain type of jacket or pant or sport coat kind of guy. And well, I'm not. So those got to go somewhere. And I don't want to keep them around. I don't have I very rarely have a nostalgia or an attachment to a piece. And it doesn't matter if I paid a good amount chunk of change or, picked it up somewhere and really once thought I was going to like it. But I tend to look at clothing through the lens of how do I feel about it now, not how did I used to feel about something. And yeah, I think also I think I approach clothing more as a hobbyist rather than archivist. And that is more of a here's what I'm into now and how I want to dress now. And that does go through shifts and phases and swings. And as I lose interest in things, I'm less inclined to keep them around if I'm not actually wearing them. And I've always had the mentality of I want my closet to contain MVP players only, no bench warmers. So if they're not in the current rotation, they're not being if they're not in the rotation, they're not being worn, they're not in the game. I really don't like to keep around, the has-beens. And I don't mind, again, seeing them go elsewhere, whether it's eBay or a friend or I think the worst place is, like a donation bin. But, yeah.
Interesting. So does anything ever come back? Like, do you ever think that things come back?
I will say, and this is a great example of why I think I should not bring things back. So years ago, I was into the whole like Americana kind of deal, and I bought a pair of bean boots. And I had them for a while. I took them all the way out to California, never wore them. I was there, and then I actually just gave those away to a friend of mine in California when I left. I was like, look, you can keep these. I never wore them. Rain boots, here you go. Not that it ever rains in California. And because they're in the middle of a drought. We both had a good laugh. But so anyways, I gave him the bean boots. And then years later, I was like, I could use some rain boots out now that I'm back in Chicago. Maybe I'll buy some bean boots again. So I bought them a second time. And so they're currently sitting in my closet at home. And I never wear the things. I always reach for Blundstones or crappy sneakers. I just never. And every time I do wear the bean boots, I don't find them to be honestly that comfortable. Yeah. Or I wish I had bought the lined versions, or I get really sick and tired of tying the laces because I hate laces. And so I'm like, I should just listen to myself in the first place. I've bought these things twice now, and I don't like them. I
feel like
I bought it out of like a sense of, you should have a pair of these in your closet, and things you don't. And if you listen to yourself and you're honest with yourself, you can avoid making like a mistake like that. So no, I don't. I think that's like a prime example of like why I should not be archiving everything, because my gut instincts of what I like and don't like are pretty good. I made a decision.
Yeah, I think I also have pretty good gut instincts, because like I've said for like a long time, it's like, I kind of want bean boots, but I also feel like if I really wanted them, like I would have them by now. Like, right. I think I'm like good at differentiating between things that I kind of want and things that I'm willing to like spend money on.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a good place to be in.
Yeah.
But no, I don't. Nothing has really come back from the archive. Like, I mean, the only things I have like that are 6+ years old, are from like my last job or like my rain jacket stuff, and I will wear those sport coats once a year, maybe twice. That's about it. Because I never wear sport coats normally, so there's not much. And I don't bring it back and wear it very often. And when I wear them, it's rare that I really, really love what I'm wearing.
That's interesting. Like, things haven't really come back from... It's hard. It's hard, right? Like, it's hard to figure out based on our current stage of life, obviously, like I think JTR said it really well in the Discord, where I was like, I have this for 5 years. He's like, that's not a long time. I'm like, yeah, well, to me it's long because I started the blog in 2015. Like, it's anything that's like lasted since then is a long time for me. And again, I did start dressing before the blog, so still quite a while. Different stage, it's just traveled with me through undergrad and grad school, Ascot Chang, and now this next stage of my life. So to me, it kind of feels like some things maybe not come out of the archive, but things have just kind of stayed with me. Of course, I haven't really left where I've been. I think, probably like when coming back from college was a good one of trying to figure out what I wanted to keep, what I wanted to stay, and then maybe After that, after college, grad school, I came back home. So maybe in then, I haven't really gotten rid of too much, or if I have, it's like nothing like super major. I haven't done like a closet purge or anything. But yeah, I don't. I'm trying to think. Coming back from the archive, because maybe I'm biased. Maybe my things that come back from the archive are just like seasonal. Like
Yeah, so that's the thing I have to be careful about is I might not. I'll look through my closets like sometimes, like, I never wear this. I'm like, no, this because it's middle of summer, and you're looking at something that is like a heavy coat. You can't make these decisions about heavy winter wear in the middle of summer. I mean, you can, but I don't think it's the right time to make those decisions. Like the middle of winter is when you should reevaluate your coat selection, or whatever, your sweater selection. But yeah, it's seasonality definitely plays into it because unfortunately I experienced all 4 seasons in the Chicago weather, so I have to have 4 wardrobes almost, or 2 wardrobes, cold and hot. So I don't really get the advantage of like going deep in one season versus having to store 4 seasons worth of fits, if that makes sense.
Yeah. I mean, it's so hard, right? Like seasonal stuff is the easiest for us to give away, but then sometimes we're like kind of like it. And of course, outerwear is such a big part of menswear, right? It's like
it's arguably the coolest part.
Oh no, absolutely. But it's like it's like, oh yeah, I don't get to wear my pea coat too often, but a pea coat's fucking badass. So like, you feel weird about like holding on to it, right? And also like we've definitely had some fluctuations in like weather lately. I think it wasn't as hot as it was like last year here in LA. Like I think other places got the crazier heat wave than LA did for 2020. And so like same thing with like, and I think with cold, it was the coldest. I think it was like this past LA time, which was really crazy. And so it's like, okay, well, it's proof that we shouldn't like just kind of give stuff up like emotionally like that. I guess, like we talked about in Discord, maybe the biggest thing is obviously fit. Like literally, like if it can't fit, we don't own it anymore. We're not going to keep stuff that doesn't fit. But aesthetic wise, right? It's kind of like we kind of just keep it.
So I will mention something I regret giving up.
Okay, here we go.
On the topic of fit. And this is my own, hoisted by my own petard sort of deal. So way back, I bought probably a dozen like Brooks Brothers, Made in America, non-iron Oxford cloth button downs. And I stocked up, like I went deep, and I was like proud of those things. But my dumb ass was like, oh, these aren't slim enough. So skinny Kiyoshi made a decision for future Kiyoshi to go and slim up all of his Oxfords. And that was a horrible decision because I held on to those things probably 2 years longer than I should have. And just hoping I would refit back into them. And I just never did. And eventually I had to let them go. I kept them around because they'd been washed and worn. The collar was getting all tore up, and they were developing like the perfect worn-in feel. And because of fit, they had to go. And that was pretty hard. That is kind of like the biggest regret, that decisions I made about fit that were not future proofed ended up, those things could still be around today had I not gotten them slimmed down so much. That's the worst. That is the worst.
Yes. See, that's the thing. Like, I try and do very minimal tailoring now. It's always like hem, waist, sleeve. You know what I mean? Like, I try not to change the integrity of the garment because that's a good example. Like, that's a good example of something like, something happening. And where you start to regret something. Like, a lot of the stuff I have given up other than like suit supply stuff or whatever that just didn't fit, like, you know, stylistically through silhouette. But it's like, yeah, like clothing I made too tapered, or clothing that I made too tight that I can't like let back out again. Like that was kind of like the big thing. And you know, again, that's pretty early in my journey, relatively speaking, where like that change happened. I'm very pragmatic in like you said earlier, like you only want, you know, the MVPs on this, no bench warmers. But like, so now what happens when everything's like an MVP, you know? And again, it's not as easy as like, well, I don't wear this often, because it's like if when you have a lot of clothes, it's like, you know, it's very emotional. Like you can't give up a certain brown check jacket because maybe you just weren't feeling it that particular week. And as someone who loves pattern, like the idea of like, for me dressing up, as we said, like with Escar Man, it's like, oh, the idea of brown check with a striped shirt, like, yeah, you can do that, and then maybe when you want to do houndstooth instead of the brown check, or sometimes you want to do brown single-breasted, you know. So it's, once you're at that point, it's really tough. Again, physique withholding. Like, other than that, it's like it's kind of hard to know what to give up. So, David says here he got rid of a lot of his shirts he didn't like to wear because he had designs he grew out of. Rid of old shoes that went to his taste and didn't match his aesthetic. Like Kiyoshi, he doesn't hold on to things that he's not wearing. The shoes he let go were churches and USA Red Wings, but just didn't work for him at this time. He hates clutter.
Oof, he let go some evergreens. That's a expensive let go right there, my friend. But I've also given up like a pair of Gaziano Underlings, so I feel you.
Well, what was the issue with the Gazianos?
I bought them in a medium width, so like I could wear them without socks. Because I bought them like I'm an 11 narrow,
okay,
and I bought them in a 10.5 medium, so I could wear them without socks, but they were never just like quite right. And I was like, I should just take the money I can get for these, and maybe someday rebuy them in the correct size. Because that's one thing I also cannot stand, is like footwear that is the wrong size, and that stuff needs to go. And yeah, so, but yeah, that was an expensive mistake. Even though I mean I did get a little bit of an employee discount on those, but it was still a hefty price.
See, that's kind of one thing too, right? Where like I mean, settling is kind of one easy shortcut, and easy not in a good way, but like a shortcut to later getting rid of it. You know what I mean? Like I've given up a lot of stuff because like when I bought them, because like, oh, it's fine. You know, I got on eBay, I didn't want to return it, and then of course you just weren't as thrilled with it. So then I did end up, giving it away. Speaking of giving away, I did get rid of a lot of shoes that I got like during college and early Ascot Chang days, where I was trying to build a shoe wardrobe, and I gave them all to producer Matt. There's a bunch of shoes I had, like, and some of them were upgrades. Like I gave up like Alan Edmonds, like was the Grayson tassel, which is a good one if you can find on eBay, you know, vintage and not the modern version. But I since obviously upgraded it to the Alden Aberdeens in both black and color 8 shell cordovan. So of course those went to him. But then there's other stuff too where it's like, nope. I was trying to think of it. I did give him my Walden Alan Edmonds pennies, which were upgraded by the LHS penny loafers. There's gotta be some. I think I've given away like my like woven spectator, like woven not two-tone, but like the cap is like calf, and of course like the lacing area, but like the middle part of the shoe, like in between the cap and the lacing area, was like woven leather. And like that was an Alan Edmonds like style, and I got rid of those. I kind of just gave them away because no one wanted them. My shoe size is small; they were size 7, and so, but like they didn't really fit with my style, you know. And maybe it wasn't. Maybe I could find a way to wear it, but not that I could find. I mean, I know I could wear them, but it was like, you know what? Even if I just give them away, I want the slot for the Aldens. And that's kind of a big thing about giving something up.
So you have not moved a lot like I have.
Absolutely
one
not.
thing I will say, as someone who did several pack up a car and move, not like get a moving truck, but just pack up a car. Shoes are the worst things to move out of all clothing items, hands down. Because you're not going to move them in boxes because you don't. Often you don't have the boxes, but also the boxes aren't efficient, and the shoes just take up so much room. They're awkward. They're a pain to store and throw in boxes or bags or whatever. It's just they're the worst things to move, especially if you use shoe trees too, because then they're heavy. But yeah, moving shoes. That's why I gave away honestly like a couple pairs of shoes before I moved each time. Because I was like, meh, these don't make the cut. they're too much for me to move.
Wow. Yeah. See,
I think it's tough because I was gonna say the hardest things for me to get rid of would be shoes. Like I don't have a huge shoe collection, not at least as large as Ethan's, but I'm like those I don't know. I need different shoes for different vibes. Like it's hard to think of what I could like really get rid of. I mean, I guess if I had to, I could probably pare down to like 5 pairs of shoes, but I wouldn't want to. I don't want to. So,
I'm right there with you. Like shoes are to me, shoes are the first thing I think of when I decide like what am I wearing out of the door, and it doesn't matter what time of year it is. Shoes are the most important. They're the crucial linchpin of like the one thing you absolutely have to think about for the rest of your day. It's like, what's the weather going to be? What are you going to be doing? Exactly. Is it more casual? What are you going to be on your feet all day? Or do you need to kind of like dress it up a little? Or, do you need something practical because it's like mud and like snow? Shoes to me are like super critical. So I do like having a wide array so I can wear the perfect shoe for the perfect, for the prescribed day. And yeah, like going back to like, a 3-shoe, 4-shoe wardrobe would just be not fun. But unfortunately, when you're moving, you're just kind of like, damn it, like shoes are taking up half of my trunk. Like I need this for other shit. And yeah, so moving shoes, not fun. Especially if you're running cross country.
Yeah.
Higher movers. I don't know what to say. Put them in a giant FedEx box and ship them.
I mean, the nice thing at least about like my move, just from your parents' house to a place is
couple trips.
You could just leave shit there, which is what I'm planning on doing that. So,
that's nice. That's a good life hack.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's kind of. I would take multiple trips to make sure I got everything.
Yeah.
Like. And lucky we're living like in LA. We're not, I think this is where I'm probably gonna stay. Like I love being in LA. Like why would I move to New York? I don't see why yet. Maybe it's because also like I can't imagine like being paid, like job wise to go somewhere else. But yeah, no, I think this always comes down to like a fundamental like looking at how you create clothes and what is like emotional for you, because it's kind of like in my head, other than like the whole space thing and everything like that, like everything to me is like a white shirt. Obviously I don't wear white shirts. I'm just using it as an example of like something that's so ubiquitous and so normal to people. To me, that's kind of how everything is kind of like that. Where like, and I don't have multiples of the same thing. Like like.
So you see your clothing as like equals. You see them all; they're all your favorite children.
Yeah,
you don't have like you don't have a stepchild, middle redheaded stepchild in your wardrobe.
Exactly. I don't. I've gotten rid of all of like those particular things. Like anything that was a little too weird. And I still own weird shit. So it's like it's really tough. Exactly. But like to me, it's like they're all kind of my children, and like. again, when you come down to it, it's not like giving up, like, you know, like say, yeah, like Kiyoshi, like your style is like, you know, obviously you're not doing the corporate look anymore, right? Like that's not something that you gravitate towards. So like everything is so starkly different. But for me, it's like, dude, like a fucking blue striped shirt. Like I've worn blue striped shirts like untucked. I've worn it with trousers. I've worn it with shorts. Like it's so easy, and they're all like, you know, they all make different vibes because of the other pieces, you know, because of the pants, because of the shorts, because of the shoes. And so it's like, I can't give up that blue striped shirt. And then you imagine that looking, well, then how can you get rid of like a green striped shirt? Because that's the same thing, you know, or, you know, and all my rayon shirts, like I still wear them, you know, across so many things. And also LA, independent of season. And so it's all of this is gonna be really tough when I'm forced to move at some point. You know, it's gonna be really crazy to think of. And I feel like I'm just probably end up just bringing it all with me, and just have racks. So sorry, MJ. But
maybe you get a 3-bedroom.
Yeah, three bedroom.
Third bedroom is just a huge walk-in closet for both of you.
Yeah. See, the thing is, I don't like. Obviously, for both of us, I was gonna say like I don't need one all to myself, but
half and half.
Yeah, half and half. Yeah, because I mean, it's like, you know, all of my clothes fit into the room that you see behind me, and my shoes as well. Maybe again, bar like outerwear, like my coats, the heavier and the leather jackets. So yeah, and it's really tough. I mean, again, if I was thinking about like what I would get rid of, it would probably be like all the Banana Republic stuff. Like if I had to, that'd probably be what it would be, and probably what is probably next on the list to kind of give up as I try, you know, as I find ways to, you know, maybe get the details that I want, even though I haven't really recreated any of those things at all yet. I've kind of just been working on like, if they are MVPs, it's like, you know, like gray pants, you know. So when there's like a lazy day, we're like, okay, I like, you know, maybe other people don't have this, but like, you know, there's a day when you don't want to wear a high-waisted, wide-leg trouser, not because it's too formal, because you just don't want to wear it, you know. And so like that's what other pieces are for. And so maybe like one thing is like I need to be okay with using some other things as like my lazy clothing, you know, as like really lazy stuff. But like because of like all the variances and silhouettes and everything that I like, it's really tough. For like, for example, my Stofa pants are really cool, which are slimmer, the gray pleated ones. They're cotton. So of course I wear those when I don't feel like wearing like my new Lords of Wool gray pleated trousers. But then there's also like my Banana Republic Aiden chinos, which feel like very like Drake's, you know, like kind of mid to high-ish rise, slim leg. They're good for like those like conservative days. Like say if I was gonna go to like a dinner with something, but like maybe in my head I have to be like, well, know what, you know, fuck it, I'm just gonna wear the Stofa pants to that thing, you know, which I don't normally do because I have so many clothes already. Like I have the ability to make all these options. I don't have to force myself to kind of like take one piece and then turn it into something else. By the time you move, my life may not revolve around clothes much more, making process easier. Yeah, exactly. You know, like again, it's still, I would have to get like a raise to make, you know, enough to move out and live more comfortably. And by comfortably I mean like not be like paycheck in, paycheck out kind of a thing, or at least with enough money to save for the future and for emergencies as well. So yeah, I mean, looking at my room, I'd probably give up books first before clothing. You know, I'd probably, you know, all these like old Yu-Gi-Oh comics or Yu-Gi-Oh compilations that I have. But it's like, man, I've had them for so long. I feel like you kind of got to keep them, you know, sometimes, right? Like you just have them. Like my like 2002 like Star Wars Ultimate Guide, which I got like the year Revenge of the Sith came out, which doesn't have any of the new ones. Like it's kind of like a piece of history, right? Star Wars before.
It's a piece of history, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, it's stuff like that that's kind of like makes it tough. And again, I think seeing everything behind me all the time is really conducive to bringing things out of the archive, because it does remind me, like, and I do it on purpose too, where like I look at it so I can go, okay, what. I don't look at it being like, oh, what haven't I worn? But it's like sometimes when you're looking at your room, it's like, oh, something kind of calls out. It's like, oh, I haven't seen this red guy in a while. Like you pull it out. You know, it's not like I don't like put it away that way. Like, oh, every season I pull out my fucking crate of old clothes and go, oh, well, there's this guy again. Like, no, like it's all behind me. So like it's really easy to be emotionally inspired to just create something, you know. Like I think recently I wore I posted on Instagram today my red Drake's overshirt that I got at the bloke, and like I don't know why I got like inspired to wear that, so I wore it like 3 or 4 times over the past like 2 weeks, you know. And then I see what else catches my eye that's like, you know, that's like on the rack of clothing behind me. You know, there was like a week where I wore like my khaki cotton suit for a long time because of how like it just inspired me by looking at it, you know. And then I wear my tobacco suit, then I wear like my 1940s rayon, or sorry, 1940s gabardine trousers. You know, it's kind of like shoes where like sometimes I go from like tassel first. So like one week I wore like wallabies the whole week because it's like, oh yeah, why don't I do this, you know? Or you know, it's like a fun challenge for yourself. I think like we've talked a little about in Discord, like how I seldom wear t-shirts, right? And because it's like, to me, the t-shirts require like, I mean, I'm wearing a t-shirt right now, but this is like a home t-shirt. It's not like a merch shirt or anything, but it's like, oh, like 1 week I will wear like my Star Wars t-shirts or my Tintin t-shirts or whatever. And I wouldn't be able to if I gave them away, right? So it's kind of like I don't want to be in that position where I get emotionally inspired by something and then I don't own it anymore. That's kind of tough and kind of an interesting thing, because of again how like for example, non-menswear example. I remember watching Jurassic Park recently, and then when I was in the car, I was like, oh, you know what? I want to pull up the queue where you know, Tim is climbing the electric fence when the power's off, but then Ellie Ellie, right?
Yeah. His
Ellie.
wife.
Yeah. No, well, no, Ian and Ellie, but no, Tim, it's the kid, that's not his wife.
Okay, never
Laura
mind.
Dern's character. Anyway, she's turning on the power, and there's a cue called High Wire Stunts. Get it? Because Tim is climbing the wire. And I was like, oh hell yeah! And I looked on my phone, and I've had the full recording of Jurassic Park for years on my thing, but for some reason it wasn't on my phone, and I'm like, fuck! Now I gotta like go home and add it in. Like I just want to listen to it now. Like that's how I feel, and so I don't want to feel like that way about clothes. Where like all of a sudden I'm like, oh, I want to wear double breasted. I look and I'm like, oh shit, I gave away my double breasted jacket. Like that sucks, you know.
That's interesting because like you extremely value never the concept of never repeating a fit, and you like to always have variety being the spice of life kind of deal, right? And
yeah.
I'm of the complete opposite opinion where I want to have a certain look for a significant period of time. Like it could be for an entire week, could be for months, could be for years. And I want I want to have a look that is distinctly me for however long until I'm bored of the look. Well, and I want to change my look. And then that is when the purge and then the buying cycle fires up again. There's some transition period, right? But for me, it's more of this kind of like, once that transition's complete and I'm happy with the look I have now, or of the moment, then I'm like, okay, I can safely get rid of this other stuff because I'm not ever wearing that.
Okay, that's kind of like the opposite thing. But I guess my question for you then is like, those looks are so distinct, right? Obviously, like, you know, the transitions and everything, but like when you change looks, it's pretty different from each thing. But when you say like you want to look for a specific period of time, those looks require less pieces, right? Like there's not a lot that goes into that particular look for that time.
That is correct. There's not a lot of variety within, like.
See, yeah, okay, I totally see it. See, I think I guess maybe
it would be like, for instance, when I went from more like corporate look to like what I do now, it's like, okay, I'm wearing a ton of ties. I'm wearing, when I first started, it was like contrast, like white collar shirts with like, you know, blue shirts or whatever. You know, a lot of French cuff shirts, dark, basically blue suits, and now it's like, okay, I pretty much never wear ties.
Right.
I'm wearing Western shirts or denim shirts of some sort, or black shirts, and then um, basically just not dark navy suits anymore. And the only thing that really carried over was my tassel loafers. Um, so it's kind of like I don't need any of that corporate stuff because I think also I realize like when am I ever going to wear this? And I just don't see a need for them. And it also reaches an endpoint where like, okay, the shirts are getting kind of ratty. I need to like re-up my shirt supply and refresh it. Um, ties, they all fit in a shoebox. Like I still have all my ties. Like I said, is one thing I do archive. But it's more so you're never going to get your money back trying to sell your ties. So might as well just hang on to them in case you need a tie or you want to give a tie as a present to someone or whatever. And then with the suits, it also happened to be by like a point where most of those suits didn't really fit anymore or reach the edge of what is acceptable with alterations. And it was just kind of like, it felt like a natural ending point to where I could change over and not feel bad about releasing those items to wherever they may go, or whomever they may go to. So like that was having this kind of going through like these phases. I think is like it's easier for me to do that transition because one, it's not a huge infinite variety, and two, it feels like a natural ending to their story with me.
Interesting.
Yeah.
See, I feel like if like you said at the beginning of it, like you do have these looks do require less pieces. They have more of a uniform aspect to them, whereas my apparently unique approach is like everything feel like it's still.
It could be anything.
It could be anything. It's still the thing. I mean, maybe it just comes down to like how I do it, but like it does. It still feels like me. I feel like even like the way like I own workwear stuff
point
too.
Of view, yeah.
Yeah, it's still a point of view, but yeah, I guess it's not as like as minute as like okay, it's only gonna be like the yuppie look. Like I think when I get into moods, it's usually like oh that defines how I approach a POV for a little bit of time. Like for example, like yeah, we talk about Esquire Man and everything, like all the weird foulard stuff, and then all of a sudden like I like more minimal stuff, like the tonal cream ties a la Jay Muser for a little bit. It's like that, and all of those things actually don't require new or different clothing. It's kind of just like repicking things from the existing stuff.
Yeah, you're remixing. You're remixing your current wardrobe.
Exactly, or archiving, as we say. And so it's like, yeah, I guess it's really, I've been really blessed, I guess, to like not have had to like do anything like super drastic. Like I've always had like black jeans. Like that's always been like, even if I didn't wear them like through like I wore them in college obviously, then I stopped wearing them for a little bit, then I brought them back in, or I upgraded them to like 501s as opposed to like my Hot Topic ones. And it's like, yeah, black jeans are cool, but like I didn't actually have to like go if I wanted like a punk aspect to it. I actually didn't have to buy something new. I just kind of did my own version of it with what I already had. I already had black merch t-shirts. I already had a black rayon Western shirt that I got in Japan. I actually, as we said in the podcast, I'm actually not thinking of the future when I do it. I don't think that that's wise to be like, oh, buy it for life and okay, I can wear this across a variety of aesthetics. But for some reason, it just happens that way. Like it's just so lucky to be like, okay, I can wear like a scarf and wear it like Drake's, and then you wear it with like I don't know, all black, and all of a sudden it feels a little bit more rock and roll. But it's the same like Drake's multi-print scarf that I got like that works with like a sport coat when you want to be like fucking Michael Hill in 2014 on Tumblr. So it's just like it just kind of works out, which is really crazy, again, only time will tell, as JTR has said in our Discord, like as I get older and I move out and stuff, like, do I get even weirder? Like, if that's the case, then of course the big purge will happen. Or the opposite, which a purge could still happen. If I, like, you know what, I'm just gonna stick to, like, I'm just gonna be the Esquire, like, just Esquire man forever. You know, like, no yuppie stuff anymore, no milsurp. You know, it's just that. So, like, that could also happen. We kind of double down something. I don't know at this stage because I still like doing all of those things.
I'm gonna go on.
I was gonna say, and again, luckily, like, I it doesn't contribute to, like, a style identity disorder, you know, where it's like, it's not like I'm going from, like, oh, I have a closet of Rick, and then I also have, like, the armory tailoring, kind of like similar to the issues that like Jeremy Kirkland had, right? Like, for a little bit of, like, and then he eventually was like, I'm just gonna dress like a dad forever. But there's, like, you know, it's not as distinct as that. And again, maybe I'm just lucky to have, like, not have had that kind of wide reaching taste. You know, even though I do appreciate other designers, I still haven't, like, done it. You know, so, like, I haven't, like, bought a Bedford, which then requires a different type of pant because a Bedford doesn't really go with, like, the pants that I already have. I'm smart enough not to do that, and my appreciation of engineered garments so far has not led me to, like, go down that rabbit hole. So, yeah. What were you saying, Spencer?
I was gonna say something you said made me think of if you wanted to make a really scary horror movie for menswear dudes, a sequel to The Purge, where the government says that you have to throw away everything in your closet once a year. That's the new Purge movie.
Scary.
Yeah. Maybe some people would love it though. Do we have any closing thoughts?
We'll know when we move out. We'll know when we move out. I think
we'll do an update. We'll do an update in a year, like I said. I think.
Yeah.
I mean,
hey, so we have no more clothes.
Yeah.
We're homeless.
We live in huts now.
Yeah. We're gonna become, you know, we're gonna transition the podcast into those, like, primitive technology, like, YouTubers. We're gonna get tired of living in California and just move to the jungle somewhere and make our home out of mud and sticks.
Nice.
Well, guys, thank you for joining us. Thank you to Kiyoshi for joining us as well for this conversation. If you want to hear the full, like, our full actual thoughts on, like, how we do it, I mean, you heard it here a little bit, but want to hear more of me and Spencer's deep dive into it,
discussion
and expanded discussion. Yeah, who knows what comes first, this or the podcast? Technically, the podcast chronologically, but you could listen to it in any order you want. Go to Sound Direction, look it up on Apple Podcasts. I think Spotify's still having issues, but we're on there too. We're on SoundCloud, or Overcast, or whatever podcasting platform you use. We're probably on it. It's also on YouTube as well. You can read the essay I wrote about it, and you can see examples of, like, some of our clothes that we've kind of, like, kept over, like, the past 5 to 7 years, and how we've recontextualized a lot of them. And it's kind of pretty. It's a good thing that we've kind of had them. Again, like we said, don't know if we're going to do that in the future. Who knows? Maybe moving out and everything will make us have to give it up. Maybe Spencer will finally give up that fucking Ricky jacket that he had when we went to SF in 2014 that he wore, like, so cool. Yeah, exactly. See, that's how I feel about everything. You know, it's kind of tough. And also, one big thing is we've got a lot of our clothes for cheap, but then also Kiyoshi's gotten his clothes for, you know, for, like, good cost or wholesale prices. You know, so it's sometimes when the purge intrigues you, you just got to do it.
Yeah, yearly purge.
That's right. So yeah, if you want to join the conversation directly with us, again, it's a lot of the podcast and the essays ideas came from this discussion that we had in Discord about this multiple times about archiving. Go to patreon.com/styleanddirection, all spelled out, and you'll get access to our Patreon Discord, as well as a bonus episode, which just came out today. So have a listen of that. It's pretty funny. We talk about the Social Network and There Will Be Blood, as well as
John Williams
JW.
A little bit. Yeah, JM.
Yeah, Johnny Maestro, aka Johnny Virile.
Yeah. Okay. It's canon now. $10 a month will give you all of that. Plus, we say your name as a personal thank you every time we stream, or every time we do podcast and mainstream. So MJ, what are their names?
So big thank you to our Sadcast fanatics, Austin Malott, Shane Curry, Philip Gregard, Audrey Jessica, Jeremy Ostraker, Jarrett Colian, and James Davanzo. We love you all.
We love you so much.
We love you guys.
We love you.
We'll be back. Well, the guys will be here playing a video game on Wednesday, and who knows what's happening this Sunday because I'm gonna be in New York. So
craziness.
We'll see what happens.
We're gonna call the pilots that are flying you back,
and tell them
I'm not back till next Tuesday.
Well, we're calling the pilots on Sunday.
Oh man. All right. I will be in. Yeah. Okay.
Whatever.
You'll call a pilot, and I'm like,
we're gonna call a pilot. We're gonna call Sully. We got Sully, so
Sully Sullenberger.
Yeah,
that's right. We'll see you guys next time.
Be careful if you fly over the Hudson. We'll see ya.
Miracle.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.